Welcome to Live with Miami's Community News, South Florida's #1 source for local stories. I'm Michael Miller, bringing people together and sharing the voices, events, and connections that shape our community.
Cheers, guys.
That'd be true.
I'm all in to be the Miami-Dade County mayor.
That event. Tell everybody about it. What's next? What do we have to do?
Thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Miller. I'm here with Frank Calderon from the Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department. Thank you for joining us, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Before we get on the show, we want to introduce Emily. Emily, show us your face and give us a wave. Where are you? You'll be up there in a second. There she is. And Emily has a show usually on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and it's called Everything with Emily, recent graduate from FIU. Thank you for being here. Frank, before we get going, I wanted to tell you an experience we had with Ron McGill from the zoo about a year ago. He was one of our guests, and he was a county employee working with the foundation and with the zoo, and he was against the creation of a theme park really close to the zoo. And he said, if I don't stand up for these animals, what good has my last 40 years been? And the reason I bring that up, I was at a stoplight the other day, and I looked to my right, and it was a trash pile. And what was in it? A freezer with a door on it. And that's what I thought when Ron Miguel said, if I don't say something, what am I about? I pulled my car up. I knocked on the door. I said, I'm Michael Miller with the newspaper around the corner. I said, I do these shows with the Solid Waste Department, and they remind me every week, if you're going to put your refrigerator out front to take the door off, some kid might get in it. I said, when I was a youngster, there was a little boy in my neighborhood that died because of that. Should I put it out there, sir? Because I thought somebody wanted. I said, that may be. I said, but do the right thing. I feel so good to have done that. And the thought of driving by and not doing anything, that just stopped me right there. And so, anyways, and she did move it, all right? And I was so delighted that because that reinforcement, one from 60 years plus ago, and I don't know, we probably talked about it, 50 times.
A number of times, yeah.
And so who knew that I would be the one?
That one day you would run into
Yes, and I think that it's important for us to realize that sometimes you can just do something like that. And it was to remind somebody, and she was doing it from an innocent point. I just thought that may be. So anyway, so there's lots of times that we can do something. So let's talk about on-home chemicals, the things that we can do to prevent the ground from getting polluted. So let's talk about your home collection programs and your advertising on social media to get people to attend.
We have the two permanent centers located in Doral, the one we call West Dade, and located in South Dade, basically on the same plot of land as the South Dade landfill. The centers are open to all residents of Miami-Dade County. You don't have to be part of our service. You don't have to be in our service. You don't have to receive garbage service from us. And basically they're to allow residents to bring in old household chemicals, electronics, stuff like that, that rather than going into the landfill and potentially damaging or harming the environment, we collect it in a controlled manner, and we have contractors, vendors that will come, and they will either properly dispose of the items, or in some cases, some of the items can actually recycle it. They can remove material from them to recycle them.
And so I understand my brother Grant went to some event over the weekend. So tell us about that. Did.
All right. The event that we had was in conjunction with the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority. They basically, they are like a public-private partnership that works with the private sector, and they have a series of challenges, like, challenging situations throughout the community, where they award, winners a grant that I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head, to these companies that provide solutions to some of the vexing situations we have, or challenges that we have. And the latest one, the fifth, or well, not the latest now, but the fifth one was related to solid waste and reducing basically waste going into the waste stream. And so we announced, the mayor announced the three winners who won the challenge. And we had a big event to just, make the announcement and present them and allow them to present what they were doing and their projects and that sort of thing.
Wonderful. Let's talk about home chemicals. But the next step that gets on with me is things that we all have, which are batteries, flashlight batteries, like Untold, the smoke detectors. And if somebody wants to feel really good, all right, don't put them in the garbage, even though some you might be able to.
Yes.
All right. But just collect them all together, put them in a big heavy duty plastic bag that's really strong. All right. And then at some point, take them to a home collection service.
Yes. Actually, you do have to be careful storing them even when they're out, because you jumble them up a little bit and then you get cross connections or whatever. It could actually spark a fire, believe it or not. So it's store them carefully. When you get a chance, bring them to the Home Chemical Collection Center. We do have also mobile events, by the way, and we are going to put out the calendar for next year. So if the centers, one of the permanent centers, are a little bit too far from your home, find one of the events that's closest to you and you can take batteries there. And we do say, if you're in doubt, there's some batteries you can throw out in the garbage, but not all of them. For sure, the one type that you should never throw in the garbage or into the recycling is lithium. Excuse me. Lithium. And sometimes they'll say on the battery that's lithium. Sometimes they don't. The ones that typically don't are like the button cell or the kind of the hearing aid kind. Those typically don't say anything on them. Those are most likely lithium. You have I have at my desk at work, I have the AA, which is common, and it says lithium on it. I know that. I have it there. I have one that's already gone because I was using it for a mouse. I have it sitting there on my desk for the day that I remember to take it home and take it with me to take it to Home Chemical Collection Center, because that should never go in the garbage. Standard alkaline batteries can, but if it's too confusing, if it's too much, just when in doubt, just take them to our Home Chemical Collection Center if it's a battery, and they'll sort it out there.
And so lots of times we see people doing their own work on their trucks, or in my neighborhood, all right? Sorry, guys, all right? And they got oil that's left over, refrigerant that's left over, the coolant that's there, grease from the tires and the brakes and stuff. What can they do with that?
Well, with that, they can bring it to the Home Chemical Collection Centers. Those items, coolant, brake fluid, hydraulic fluid, not hydraulic fluid, brake fluid, and used motor oil. I should add that they can bring it to the Home Chemical Collection Centers. They can bring it to one of the events when we have that. I should also add that if you do receive, and that's for anybody in Miami-Dade County, any resident, if you do receive service from us, you also have the option with used motor oil to take it to several of our TRCs, trash and recycling centers. We have 13 of them, not all of them accept oils. You can visit our website at miamidade.gov/solidwaste to see which ones do, or you can call 311 and they'll tell you the ones that accept oil. So that's another option for residents who are part of our system.
And I think we're going to have on the scroll in just a minute the website address again, which is what?
miamidade.gov/solidwaste.
Okay. Let's talk about it's hard to imagine it's in a month and in 6 weeks. It's the new year already. It seems like as soon as September was here, what happened?
Boom.
We turned around and here it is. So Thanksgiving is next Thursday, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we're going to turn around and go, it's Christmas once again. So we know it's Christmas, all right? We got all these boxes that are going to be there, truckloads of boxes. And we have those Christmas trees, and we have the old lights that we don't want anymore because we don't want to have to peel them off and put them in. They're only $10 for the thing. God, let them move on to the next step. So let's talk about the boxes. People get all these presents, all right? What should they do with the boxes?
Well, one thing you said, you're not kidding. Literally truckloads of boxes. Literally, the boxes can be recycled. They're prime material for recycling. They can go in the blue recycling cart. Just the only thing we ask is you break them down carefully. Make sure you don't wedge them or jam them in there, because then they could get stuck if you do that. But yeah, that's a prime material for recycling.
And I think I mentioned to you not too long ago, we were talking about the garbage cans getting dirty, and the county does not clean them. You have to do that. And I mentioned there was a guy who we interviewed a couple of years ago that cleans them. What are the odds he comes in? And we did a story on it. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It grabs it, it cleans it. I don't even remember the name of it. They can go online and they can find a really extraordinary business that this guy created from nothing. Now his daughter's running it, and they have thousands of customers. I guess that you get on a, it come every month or two or whatever it was. Certainly that's one of my challenges, all right, that I'm thinking, okay, when am I going to put my hands on that thing? Not before I'm ready to go out, not before I want to take a nap, right? Because it's pretty dirty. So if you don't want to clean it yourself, you can hire some company, to do that. And if somebody's green or blue carts are broken, which plenty are, I'm sure at this particular point, what do they need to do to fix that?
All they have to do is call 311. That's it. Simple as that. We'll send a crew out to repair, or if it's beyond repair, we'll replace it.
And and in the old days, when we used to walk into a store, we would buy it was the manufacturer's box that would be around the item. Now we get the two boxes, the manufacturer's box
and the shipping
and the shipping box. And there has to be a place for middle-aged guys can go and just look at all these beautiful cardboard boxes that only have one life this time around.
Cats.
The cats like
Cats love boxes.
Yes. We'll start leaving on the front porch. We get all the neighbors' cats to come over and live on our front porch. Now I'm going to put your address on them and they come over. All right. So I know we're jumping around a little bit. So let's talk about on bulky waste pickup, which are large amounts of trash, not garbage, not stuff you put into the green carts, all right, not kitchen stuff, but they've got landscaping material or other stuff. So tell us about what they need to do to have that taken care of.
Well, you can go online to our website, miamidade.gov/solidwaste, to put in a request for a bulky waste pickup, or you can call 311. And the way it works now, as opposed to a couple of years ago, is by appointment. Basically, there's so many pickups that the crews can do in a day, and you pick for that day, and if once all the appointments are gone for that day, the next day rolls over. So you just pick the day out of the days that are available, and don't put anything out first. Make the appointment first, whether you do it online or by phone. Then 3 days before the appointment, you can set the stuff out. And we should note one of the items, going back to what you spoke about earlier at the beginning of the show, one of the items that are allowed, we call white goods, refrigerators, freezers. They will tell you, please, to remove the doors off of them because of the hazard, the potential hazard. And I remember, not in my own neighborhood, but I remember the news stories when I was a kid too, about some unfortunate child would get trapped playing hide and go seek or something, and that was it. Those things are airtight.
By the way, so here I am 60 plus years later, I'm still traumatized by it. It just feel like I was like, this big. What happened to, I forget the kid's name. And I drove by that house recently. This is right down where I used to live many years ago. I said, there's one of these houses around here. So you have the whole family that got destroyed, all right?
Yeah.
And then you have the people that knew about that particular trauma. So, and let's talk about hurricane season's over. We got really lucky, all right? Fortunate, all right? Still make sure that your trees that you want to get off your property line or get over your fence or on your house, that you trim them properly and get them out so it doesn't bulk up. And let's talk about the TRCs. Let's talk about the couple. There's a couple down south and a couple north. So what's the process? If somebody's got a yard full of stuff, they want to take it in their truck or in their truck or the car, what do they do?
Sure. Okay. So the TRCs, trash and recycling centers, are for our customers, unlike the home chemical, which is anybody in Miami-Dade County. The people that basically receive garbage service from us. But there's 13 of them. They run all the way from the Aventura area, from the northeastern corner of the county, all the way down south to, I think the furthest south one is on Moody Drive, which is Southwest 268th Street, if I'm not mistaken. As long as it's not a commercial vehicle, they'll allow you to bring it in a pickup truck or in a regular car. And we're talking about not household garbage. I don't think you want to drive around with that anyway, but not household garbage, but they'll take lawn waste, old lawn furniture or ornamental stuff that you have out there, plants that you've, trimmed out or if you've chopped down a tree or branches, the branches can be brought in. They'll allow you to bring in some what we call C&D, construction and demolition debris. I think about 3 cubic yards. Think of a cubic yard as about the size of a washing machine. Basically, it's something that would be like a small DIY project. The leftover material you could bring it over, and old furniture and old appliances as well.
Like for old furniture, they don't care how much it is. But on the demolition stuff, if people think they can hide it from the guys, they do this all day long. They got it all figured out. They can spot you when you're on 117th Avenue on the way over. They go, look at that red pickup truck. We know it's in the back of that thing.
They will see it.
And so when they see it, what do they tell the people?
They will allow them to dump typically allow them to dump the 3 cubic yards, and then they won't let them dump the rest of it. They'll have to send them away.
So, but if it's filled with the other garbage, say you can take that garbage off up to 3 yards of the other stuff, but the other stuff you take it and you got to leave. And deservingly so. And let's talk about, frequently we see these big nursery trucks, landscaping truck, big trucks filled with stuff. I've seen them at those dumps, and I see this big tag on the side. So tell us how that works.
The landscapers are the only exception we have to the rule about no commercial waste at the TRCs, basically because they're working in neighborhoods. So what they do though, we have an arrangement with them. They buy these coupons, and I don't know what the cost per coupon is, but they have to, anytime they come to dump, they use a coupon. So they have to purchase enough to cover, whatever their dump at the facilities, but it's prepaid. They don't have a mechanism at the centers to accept payment. So these landscapers, they set up an account with us. They buy the coupons prepaid, and then they use a coupon each time
they hand them the coupon,
basically.
So
it's electronic now. Which I don't know exactly how it works, but pretty much the same.
So they can't. Concept. Yeah, even if they, in all good spirit, they gave a coupon to their friend. It's either they paid for it, but the friend didn't pay for it. If there's still coupons, could the friend use it?
That I don't know, especially now that it's electronic. I don't think that they will.
It'd be sort of hard to.
That's a good question for me to ask our accounting folks. See how that works.
I do again want to compliment our commissioner Anthony Rodriguez, who's the chairman on Keeping Horse Country Cleaner. Extraordinary. And on 118th Avenue, there's like no parking signs on 118th, and then no dumping stuff. What a difference that has made. Truly, at this point, I was stunned what a difference it made, because it says to the people, we're paying attention here, right? And so even though it's a pain to see all the signs, but you know what? I look at it, it's cleaner. And that gives this bigger picture of, you better not do something because they're over here. And so the people that still dump out of their cars and trucks on the side of the road, so tell us how they're going to get caught.
Oh, we have a number of ways to catch them.
But I'm not telling you.
Sometimes there's evidence in the pile, the stuff they leave behind. And sometimes they get seen by the officers. I remember a case a while back, and they got video of it, but not from a camera, which is another method, from the waste enforcement officer for the area, videotaping out of their windshield, right in front of him, somebody just dumping mattresses. And of course, that person, needless to say, was caught. So sometimes you might just have the enforcement officer for that zone right in front of you when you're doing it, and yes, you're going to get caught. And then, of course, we have cameras. We have some that are live feed, and we have an enforcement officer who sits monitoring these live feed cameras. And if he or she sees anything happening, they will dispatch our enforcement officers in the field to go investigate. And we also have cameras that record, and we'll go back and we'll get the tag or some other identifying information, and in that manner they'll investigate it.
So some of those people may think they got away with it, except for about a week later, people go, "Hey, here's your here's your tag number."
Well, if you're lucky, it'll only be one of our enforcement officers with a ticket for you. If you're not lucky, it'll be a Miami-Dade sheriff deputy with handcuffs
who had a bad day.
A bad day, even if they didn't, with handcuffs, and announce that you are under arrest for illegal dumping.
Come on over. We're going downtown.
Yes. So yeah, that can happen.
So what'd you do today? I arrested a guy for dumping trash. I know. Everybody's got to do something at it. And I know it's a training ground and people really learn from that. But again, so there are cameras all over Dade County, all right, different places. They're camouflage cameras. You're not going to be able to spot them because I know I'm in an area where there are cameras. I don't stop to look for them, but they're not staring at you, all right? And again, just so the people know, if somebody dumps trash right outside your front door in the street, there's a thing called the swale, and then there's somewhere in there your private property begins. Mm-hmm. But for a guy, when you're driving down the street, all right, are they all, is the swale always county? Meaning from the street to the property line, that 10 feet or 15 feet?
I don't know if it's county or state. I remember hearing when I was a kid that it was a state. It may be, if it's a county road, it's county. I don't know. That's another good question for enforcement officers.
So if there's
but it is public property.
Yeah. So if there's a dead dog out there, they're going to call somebody from the.
They call if it's 311, and they should dispatch somebody from Animal Services to pick it up.
And if it's trash out there, it's your trash.
If it's trash and you didn't put it out there, we strongly suggest you call 311 so that they don't blame you for illegal dumping. So that, it's you called 311 to report it, then they know it wasn't you. But if the enforcement officer gets there before you, you could get dinged for illegal dumping. So that's why as soon as you see it, call it in.
I'm very careful now. As I tell all my friends, don't put that stuff out before you call.
Yeah.
So you can call 311, you can book it, or you can go online, Miami-Dade Solid Waste, county/solid waste, and you could go for bulky waste, and you can pick it's simple. It said that they have a sketch of a house. Where's it going? What's it look like? And where at the house, and what's it composed of?
And a pull-down menu with the dates available, the appointments available.
I know they've probably been doing that for about 15 years. I just became aware of it a few years ago. So has there been much talk in the solid waste department how AI may affect our the delivery or the service of the solid waste services?
From what I've seen, there are a number of things AI can do. It can spot items as they go in the truck and see if something that shouldn't be going in the truck is going in the truck. I believe that some of our, if not all of our contractors on the recycling side have that capability, or they're in the process of installing it. So you can see
in the camera, and it looks at the stuff,
and it sees if it's meant to be recycled or not, so they know if there's contamination coming into the truck.
Oh my God!
That technology actually exists now. I don't know how many of the trucks of our contractors have it on it, but that technology exists. The AI can look and analyze at the stuff going into the trucks.
So the days of trying to hide it under a piece of cardboard doesn't matter.
Those days are long gone.
Sorry, Johnny, can't get away with it anymore. Okay, so let's talk about herbicides and fertilizer that go into people's yards. I know there's a certain time of the year where the county says, please don't fertilize. Tell us why that is and when that is.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly when it is, and I should say this is under I don't know if it's under, now that they split DERM off, if it's DERM or RER. I want to say that it's typically around the rainy season. I want to say that October was the last month, but please do not take my word for it. Check the RER or DERM website to be sure. They should have that information on there. The reason, of course, is a runoff. You get all these, when you put fertilizer on your lawn, it's like when you take vitamins. It's not, your body's not going to absorb 100% of it. Similar thing. The runoff is going to go into storm drains, and eventually it's going to find its way into potentially Biscayne Bay or some lakes and canals, and the nutrients are just going to cause all kinds of environmental issues. So that's why the county passed that ordinance some time back.
Do you know if the county commission is currently looking at potential locations for the new waste to energy plant?
I imagine they're looking at, I don't know. I know that they're supposed to vote on it sometime soon. But I don't know exactly who is doing what, but yeah, that is something that the county as an organization is looking at this moment.
So if somebody's in a rush, don't worry, it won't be done overnight. So they got to vote.
Overnight, no.
It is going to be from like today forward. It could easily be 8 to 10 years without a problem.
Well, as far as the building, once the site is decided upon, there's a lot that goes into it: permits, plan, design, and then of course the actual construction.
There's an old saying. It's going to take twice as long and twice as much, cost twice as much. We're all looking forward to that. So here we have, we know down here in Miami, when the weather changes a little bit, we sort of like the mood sort of shifts for a lot of people, which is, it's sort of like the birds sing differently, the horses do different stuff, the plants react differently because it's getting cooler. And so it's like, oh, the holidays must be coming, because we've been through it so many times. You go, yeah, it's around the corner.
Mhm.
So last time we looked, it was like the third week of October is starting to get a little cool. So now we're a month from that, and we're already in January. So we have lots of stuff we're already working on January, February, and March. And so before too long, we'll be talking about hurricane season once again, if we're really
A
lucky.
year-round thing.
Yeah, it is. So Frank Calderon, Miami-Dade Solid Waste, thanks so much for being here. And when are you celebrating your
having me.
anniversary with the county?
August, that passed August of next year.
And how many years have you been to the county?
Let me see. It's 2025. Subtract 2000. 25 years.
Way to go.
I started in 2000, so that makes
You were just a
makes
kid.
it easy.
Let's look in that camera right there. First of all, thank you for joining us. Second, my brother Grant and I subscribe to the Disney rule, which is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us. Bye now.